Right, greetings everybody and welcome to another video, the first of two videos I am going to be filming today. I'm going to be also be filming a Hear Me Out, but it is Wotv related, so you don't have to worry about me going off topic. I know you don't like as much me talking about stuff that isn't Wotv, whatever. We could talk about the Game Awards tonight. It was a fun night for a bunch of reasons. Advertising be damned. You know what? As much as I dislike the advertising for some things, I hate way more the way Twitch is nowadays with the number of ads on it, which is partially why I just don't stream on there anymore. It's just tough. It's just a hard one to watch. Now, what isn't hard to watch is this video where we get into the latest news. And here we have our winter news. This isn't going to be the last big update for Wotv. Of course, Wotv in about a week or so, just right after Christmas is done. I guess that's about 2 weeks down. We will get the final collaboration announcement of the year, and of course a special Wotv character, which this year I think is pretty much already decided. There probably is going to be one major story update with another character, without getting into spoilers, although I think quite a few people watch those spoilerific videos. We should do that more often. Also, because I survive on ad revenue. So today we have our Winter Xmas preview, our winter unit preview, and this time it's Preen. Preen will be getting a brand new version of her, and you know what? As people have been saying, well, certain characters get too many versions. This is a character who definitely, I think, I'm just really happy to see another version. This is one of my favorite characters in Wotv history, I would have to say. So I'm very pleased to see this, and she's looking great. Speaking of what's also looking great, this vision card artwork is looking fantastic, and as usual, you know, these vision cards that come out for these seasonal events are usually quite good. So what do we get? Well, for fists, daggers, ninja swords, katanas, and staffs, which is a pretty loaded vision card. That is a lot of jobs. Of course, ninja swords and daggers are now basically a single weapon type, but I think it's really just a lot of stuff here. Katanas have had a great year. Staffs, I feel like, also have had a really good year, and daggers and ninja swords have been getting so much support lately. So taking a look at this VC, increased resistance to single target attacks, the wider the attack range for the party ability, the greater the magical damage, so let me rephrase that. I got a little ahead of myself, and it is a wordy one. As you can see, it's quite long. Basically, the first effect is increased resistance to single target attacks. The second effect is the wider the attack range, the greater the magic damage reduction. It's basically a defensive card for the party. Critical damage up for maxing out the VC, so it does have some offensive properties to it. And for quest only, attack up, just regular attack stat up. This is, I think, a perfectly good VC, and there's still a little bit more to talk about why this VC will be desirable. So next up, granted effect for a unit, increase resistance penetration for area attacks, which is pretty cool. I think there's a bunch of units that would love to have some more area attack resistance penetration, so that's pretty good in any amount. Sniffly. Quest only will get strike attack up by 3 and single attack resistance up by 2. And finally, for jobs and including sub jobs that equip fists, we have Holy Knight Triple Strike, which is an AoE attack, so it benefits well from the AoE resistance penetration that the unit will have for equipping this VC, which is a decrease type chain resistance for targets within range for 3 turns and deal 3 consecutive damage. For fist type units and any unit that has a fist sub job, I think this is just a really nice VC. It gives you some chaining properties, which are always potentially valuable, but it's chaining property ability that also helps chaining abilities. Seems pretty logical that it should work really well together. These VCs with abilities are always a little bit higher up on the priority. And I do want to touch on something really quickly, which is the most recent VC to come to JP, the baby VC, which has been ranked incredibly high on the tier list of websites. Now, personally, I'm still not overly amazed about it myself. Maybe I'm just a grumpy old miser. It could happen. But this VC, if you're wondering, has been rated really high because it is just a super important luck VC for both sides of the coin right now. Everybody wants luck, you know, on top of speed. But this new VC, I think, is probably going to be at least a fairly desirable. It's a quest VC, so it's not as PvP focused, obviously, but just having these extra abilities can sometimes be so nice over the course of the year. And I just gotta say, I love the artwork on it, so I'll give it a thumbs up for now. Now, talking about the new version of Preen, she is a 70 cost unit. Basically means, you know, it's just going to be cheaper, easier to get if you want to get her. She's Wind Elemental as well. Main job is a fist-based job. That's why we have a fist VC coming in this update. Saber Knight is sub, and Thief, which is a pretty good mix. Thief is usually good for just like upping speed, and Saber Knight is one of the newer jobs, so I think it's a good combination of sub jobs. She's also going to be the cheapest unit to come along so far that has a commander ability, and the commander ability triggers for guild battle when an ally's whose main job is bow, fist, katana, or staff, such as Black Mage, falls below 50%, increase CT by medium, recovers AP once for the whole party. So AP generation, excuse me, sorry, again, sniffly. But a CT boost is quite interesting when HP drops below 50%. I think that this might be one of the most enticing commander units, seeing that like a lot of the times a major problem with commander units is that, or sorry, not commander units, but these seasonal units, a lot of time you can get the unit pretty cheap, but you can't max the unit a lot of times. Having a unit like this, which could potentially just be a commander unit, is quite good. Bow, fist, katana, and staff. There's a fair amount of katana users that would probably love this for like Sephiroth to potentially make him a little bit stronger than he is. Garuza as well, who is quite just strong. Then for staff, Black Mage, there's quite a good amount of units there. And bows, bow is a little bit tougher, but Fina is starting to show up in some light-based parties as a like alternative healer for people who don't have every character. So I quite like this idea for commander units that are 70 cost units, since they are a little bit cheaper and easier to get. Now, let's get into the preview of her kit. So first off, Limit Burst is a continuous ability effect. So first, increase physical damage taken for 3 turns for the targets that are hit by this, then deals extra damage to targets within range, and then activates, oh, is everyone okay? So first part of this Limit Burst, a damage ability that deals extra damage and has a pretty nice range on it. It is an AoE, so it does pair up really well with the new VC. And then secondary effect, well, it is just recovers a certain percentage of HP for allies. It's in a diamond pattern around her. So that seems pretty nice because you're getting this heal effect as well off of a limit burst that can trigger at a pretty good time. Not necessarily right at the beginning of battle. It's not that high of range, but if your opponents hit you already, hit maybe a few characters ahead of this character, then Preen could come in shortly after, do a fairly long range limit burst strike, and then get a heal off in a potential AoE. I would say that is a strong consideration for being pretty well timed and potentially pretty tactically easy for the CPU or AI to pull off. Now, as for her abilities, first off, Ground Crush. Increase attack resistance penetration rate for 3, or within range of the attack for 3 turns. Deals large damage. Nullifies levitation effect and activates a secondary ability. Secondary ability grants allies the effect of reducing magical damage taken for 1 turn and then absorbing a portion of the HP damage dealt. Quite an interesting character, a mix of support and damage-based abilities. Seems to be AoE, so will be happy to be partnered with AoEs. The real question here is, there isn't a fist-based team right now. There just isn't. So you would be splashing in a fist-based character to this. So who are we partnering with? Well, fire cost units, lightning cost units, or wind. Or cost, what am I saying? Fire, lightning, or wind units are probably the main target of this. And if I'm just thinking out loud, which I am, I think that wind could potentially really like this character with limited cost events, where cost is a factor that you will have to play around with. She does feel like she would be a potentially really good splash character in there too, and I think her as a commander unit will see some value the more of these types of characters that we do get. And that's the thing of being like, well, we've gotten dagger units recently, we've gotten a lot of earth units recently, a lot of evade units recently, and does this character particularly splash in that well? Well, it doesn't seem like she's evade at all, really. She might have a decent amount of luck, but I don't know, at least initially, if she'll be able to just be thrown into an evade team and maybe just provide enough support and whatnot to be really good there. I don't know. I feel like this is definitely targeting more of a wind-based team and a cost wind-based team. But thinking also historically about last year when we got Xmas Wrath, and Xmas Wrath was really good for a good period of time with lightning characters. I guess I'm going to say that I don't feel this is quite that, but I kind of hope it is, because I do, really like the character, but that's just me. So I guess we'll have to keep an eye on this unit's full kit, because right now, there's some healing in there. We got some support skills in there, but they are continuous abilities mixed off of other abilities. Whether her DPS can actually get there will depend on a lot of stuff in her kit, because it doesn't seem like it's quite enough in the preview to make me think that it's there. And this could be a unit that's just a jack of all trades, does a lot of little things, and not particularly that well all around. But we will have our answer early next week. So until then, that is all. I guess we could just cover a few more things. We do have a new weapon here. Quite like the design of it. Very Xmas themed. We have, looks like a raid as well for some winter base material, with all of the Xmas stuff returning again. The arena will switch to a wind based bonuses, so maybe ice based teams will have a great week. And then Grand Arena as well taking place on JP with, I do believe, the Emerald Spyglass. So that is it for the news today. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and see you later.